one on Prime 2.
All right, so we'll start off with the main event of Lee versus Jingnan.
3, the third time.
The trilogy, yes.
The
The
trilogy.
rubber match, as
The
some
rubber
say.
match. Yeah. Bro,
All right,
this fight
man.
was... So, off the top, I got the invite for the watch party from ONE FC. Shout out Keith was in there. There's some other guys in there that was super, super cool. And it's just, everybody's in Discord and just watching the fights and chatting and stuff. Everybody was super respectful. No one was talking shit about any fighters. No one's being dumb. Just probably the most wholesome MMA experience I've ever been a part of. It was
That's
super
awesome,
cool.
man.
Yeah, and shout out to ONE for doing stuff like that. I think, dude, ONE FC is they're on fire right now. Everything they're doing, they can't miss. Even fights that got pulled off this card, the card was still incredible. But the fact that they put these fights on YouTube when it's not the Prime card, they had an event Thursday morning for us that was free on YouTube live. This is on Amazon Prime, so if you have Prime, it's just free for you in North America. But they also post all their fights on YouTube in the background. They they're on their social media is very good. They're doing stuff with Discord. Like the UFC probably doesn't even know what Discord is. You know what I mean? Like they're doing the things that they need to do to gain a fan base, and it's super cool to see.
Yes. So now I'm sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments. Hilarious. All right, so we'll start off with Lee versus Zhang Jinan. These girls start trading early, man. Lee in the beginning doing such a good job with her head movement, and then she gets clocked by Xiong.
She stayed in too long. You know,
stayed in too long.
Yeah, and she got cracked.
And the head movement stopped.
She
was just coming forward at that point, just swinging. Not as wild as Mackenzie Dern, because you could tell that Angela Lee has a lot better striking. So she's coming in and she catches Xiong a couple times herself. But for me, I love how Zhang Jingnan never threw anything by itself. Everything
always combos.
Was a combo. A 2-punch combo, 3-hit combo followed up by that leg kick. It's just so many combinations that were nonstop and could be overwhelming for somebody. And there was a few times where it seemed overwhelming for Angela Lee.
Yeah.
And then you see the second round comes out. Okay, so you want to cover the first round real quick?
Yeah, so she cracks her with, I think it was a right hand that cracked her, drops her. And I mean, she had her on skates. She was cracking her from once she landed that first one that dropped her in the first round. She just kept landing, and I don't know how the hell Angela Lee survived that round, to be honest, because she got dropped, I think, 3 times in the first round. I have to rewatch it, but yeah, heavy shots from Xiong, and Angela Lee was just trying to land body kicks, and she was throwing similar striking to Chandler, except using it to close the distance more, where she'd leap in with that lead hook and try to throw the straight. And that's what she was doing to try to close the distance. But every time in that first round, because she was rocked, Xiong was just catching her and hurting her bad. And I was like, man, they're going to stop this fight because she's getting cracked. And
well, when she fell on her ass, man, and she's just like looks up at Xiong.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go, man. And she lands one solid shot while she's down there.
Yeah.
And dude, the heart displayed by Angela Lee during the entire fight was something to admire, man. It was amazing.
Yeah, this fight kind of reminded, I said it in the Discord too, but this fight reminded me of Gray Maynard versus Frankie Edgar 2, where the first round is like, how the hell did they just survive that? And then it ends up going all 5 with realistically rounds 2 through 5, Angela Lee was kind of the aggressor. Even though she just got the crap beaten out of her in the first round, she was the one pushing the action. She was still getting caught, but she was the one pushing the action throughout the rest of the fight. And this was, I mean, ONE FC, the scoring's different, right? It's not, you don't do it round by round. It's not a 10-point must system. So it was going to be pretty hard to overcome the damage that Xiong landed in that first round. But man, she's tried. She kept coming forward for the entire fight, and I was so impressed with that.
Yeah, man. In the second round, Angela Lee started doing something a little bit more, and that was clinching up against the fence. So when you have somebody as explosive as Xiong, and somebody that's looking to counter a lot like Xiong was, Why
Yeah.
not just put her up against the fence, clinch as much as you can? Because when she was in there, she was landing some knees. She switched over to Muay Thai grip and started kneeing her. She
Yeah.
threatened with that Darce and kneed Xiong. I don't know
Yeah.
how many
Dude,
times in a
those knees on
row,
the fence were crazy. I was like, "Oh
nonstop,
my
man.
god." And Zhang
It
just ate them.
for breakfast, man, or
Yeah.
dinner, whatever time it was over there. But then,
Yeah.
and when she would break away from the clinch, she was able to sneak a couple of elbows in too. And so I was like, this is awesome, man. Do this for the next 4 rounds. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
Because Zhang also had
As a
some
game plan.
improved movement
Mhm.
from the 3rd round to the 5th round. But I thought there were still some opportunities to be able to clinch a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because Zhang really started timing her entries well, especially later in the fight, where she was just getting cracked every time she would try to leap in like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a close fight. It was honestly, all said and done, HLB Comer says I got so lost. Who won, white or black? Zhang was in black. She won. She got the nod. Going into the decision, I was like, man, I'm kind of leaning Zhang winning this fight because you don't score it round by round. It's not a 10-point must system. All this stuff is different.
Damage.
Um, Damage. And I was like, man, most likely Zhang, but I would not be surprised if ONE FC. I know. Come on, how great is that?
Look at this
How great
picture.
is that?
You know your boy over here loves dramatic pictures, Will. Look at
Yeah,
this one.
dude. How about yeah? I mean, it's fantastic. Anytime they get the belt and they do the gold confetti, it's so sick. Their production
Oh,
is
it's
just so
amazing.
top notch, man. How about the walkouts too, with the lights and the fireworks and shit? And you're just like, damn, this is the main event. This is
Yeah,
sick.
it
Because
was awesome, man.
the walkouts all night felt like main event. Like they were getting the attention of a main event, and then this
There's
fight
a
came out.
walkout that I want to
Yeah,
cover
we'll
a little
talk
bit
about it.
later.
Yeah.
And maybe if you know what, I'll type in the private chat here for Rich to look something up to maybe have a video up of
Oh.
this fighter's walkout. See if we can find it. But yeah, what else did you have on this fight, Will?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. Angela Lee is a little upset. She's talking about how she thought that she won, which I thought was I thought you could argue that. Um, I think I agree that Zhang won the fight, but I would not be surprised if the judges gave it to Angela Lee. Even Chatri said that he thought Angela Lee won the fight. But
Well, it's crazy, man, because she's the one that I thought she was out. You know who else thought that they were probably gonna have to stop the fight?
yeah,
Herb Dean. Because
Herb Dean,
I
man,
don't know if you saw this. He was right over her,
Herb
and
Dean
his arms
shuffle.
went like this, ready to wave it off. And he
That's
goes,
just his signature move, man.
and he
Yeah,
steps back. But even so Mindy's watching the fight with me last night. She's watching this one. She's like, "Oh my god, these girls are going at it." And I was like, "Yeah, this is an amazing fight." And she goes, "Oh, Herb's about to stop it," because she's used to seeing the Herb Dean shuffle too. And
yeah,
sure enough, he went up and he was about to and stopped. And I was like, "Okay."
yeah,
And when you're that close to having the fight stopped, and then at the end of round 5, you're
yeah.
about to be stopped in round 1. At the end of round 5, you're the one that's screaming and yelling and telling the other
That
fighter,
shit was
"Come on, let's
sick,
go."
dude.
Oh my goosies all over my
Yeah,
arms, man. It was
goosey. I got
amazing.
goosies right now.
It's
How about
awesome. It's awesome.
that?
How about that? All right. Ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, and
So was this the first ever grappling title?
this was their inaugural uh
Inaugural?
inaugural grappling championship.
Yes, so we had a Musumeci versus Souza.
Yeah, Moose
Not
Mesh, man.
Souza, because he's Brazilian. Souza.
Yeah,
Do you hear the difference?
yeah, but Darth Rigatoni, man, he's just so much fun to watch. They started so the rules, right? So it's 10 minutes. Submissions. Obviously, you're trying to get a submission. 10-minute round, 10-minute round. Um, if there is no submission, whoever is more active or who has more legitimate attempts at submissions gets the win. So it's not like you're going to win if you get a takedown and you pass guard and then you just sit in half guard the whole time. Like that's not gonna. It's not about passing. It's not about points. Get the finish, and if you don't get it, who was closest, how many times? And
Yep.
Darth Rigatoni, man, immediately it starts immediately. He just goes to his back, and you're like, let's
Right
go,
away.
yeah, and just and I
Hey, and
mean,
Kleber Souza, props to him,
yeah,
man, because instead of like standing in the middle and like telling him like come towards me, which he did like
yeah,
once or twice, but he could
he
have done
tried
that a
that
lot
one,
more during the 10 minutes.
yeah,
He continued trying to pass over and over
yeah.
again.
He's doing cartwheel passes and shit, and Mikey's just man, he's tying up legs, going for leg locks. There was one moment where he went for an armbar. I think I might get this wrong. I need to rewatch it, but I think he went for an armbar. Sosa defended. He switched to the leg, and then when he tried to defend his leg, he crawled up his back. And it's
Yep.
like, oh my god, just crazy passing. There was one time where he was on his back and he rolled forward and he was like, okay, cool, just grab this leg and attack the leg submission. And I mean, just he was on his back, but Sosa was completely relegated to defense for pretty much the entire 10 minutes. It was so fun to watch.
The leg dexterity from Mikey, because whether it was the cartwheel pass or anything that Souza was trying to do, Mikey was able to get a leg somewhere in between Souza to put Souza in a position to feel threatened with something.
Yeah.
It was such a crazy chess match, man.
Yeah,
And
it
I
really
love that
was.
one is doing this.
Dude, it's so
It's
much
a nice
fun.
change of pace.
Yeah. And it's like, I think the rule set is good. Really only scoring submission attempts really forces you to go for things. Because it's like,
Yep.
I don't want to go for the submission because if I don't get it, I'll lose the position. Nah, that's how you get points. You need to go for it. So yeah, it kind of forces the action there. Yeah, so much fun.
And look at this shot, man. No gold confetti, but
Yeah,
still to be the first to win the inaugural belt for this grappling match. And I never thought I'd say this, Will, but I'm excited to see the next title defense for
yeah,
a jiu-jitsu match in the middle of an MMA card.
yeah. I mean, it's so much fun the fact that they mix it up like that. And how about his call out? He calls out Demetrius Johnson. And
Why not?
he's like, I don't want this to be a disrespectful call out. I just think it would be an honor to share the mat with him. It's like, let's do it.
Why not?
Yeah,
Let's do all right,
let's
man.
do it.
Let's you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, shout out Keith also says the weird thing is Mikey's good on his feet as well. Yeah, he's been training Muay Thai for a long time. I don't think he'll ever. I'd be surprised if he ever
Transition.
like transitions to do it, but maybe he's
He
young,
seems like
right?
a
How old
very
is he?
interesting cat, man. I don't know. I don't know. But
Did
he
you?
said he's been a jiu-jitsu practitioner since the age of 4. He's been doing jiu-jitsu since the
Fuck,
age of 4.
I'm older than him.
When
Man,
it finally hits you, you're getting old.
2 months younger than me,
Damn, dude.
but he's got time.
And Keith
Did you
says, I
watch him on
love the way
Rogan?
one mixes martial arts.
Oh yeah, man, it makes a world of a difference. And why not? You know, MMA is great. Don't get me wrong. That's like why we have this whole thing. But why not throw a Muay Thai fight in? Why not throw kickboxing and grappling? Like it just breaks up the action a little bit. Not breaks up the action, but it mixes it up, keeps you on your toes. Um, yeah, it's just fun.
For sure, man. All right.
Learn is
We
fun.
can move on to Rods1 versus Stamp Fairtex.
The people's main event. I
So
told
when
you.
I was
Remember the first thing? I think the first thing I ever showed you from ONE FC, I was like, "You gotta see this. Please watch this. I'm gonna force it." And then I showed you Stamp Fairtex, and you were like, "All right, that's pretty sick." I think that was the
she is
first
sick,
time.
man.
Yeah, I mean, she has the potential to transcend the sport, 100%.
Now, when we were talking earlier about walkouts,
Yeah,
I think Rich found a video of one of the walkouts here.
Woman, to say the least. You know, Stamp's an amazing
Maybe
fighter,
I
but
wanna
she
cut the audio.
also knows how to sell herself. And this little Stamp dance, it's kind of become the phenomenon of Stamp, you know? So she's able to get it done inside the ring and outside the ring. This is a big
I
Dude,
mean, come
so
on.
she
It's a little
has straight up
choppy, but
choreographed dances before
yeah,
she comes out. And at first you're like, all right, well, like what's going on? But then she comes into the octagon and
the
she's an
circle.
absolute killer, man. And yes, the circle. And she backs it up.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, I forgot which fight it was. Maybe it was I think it was this one. She she was like, yeah, she's just a dancer, blah blah blah, and it's like okay, and then you watch the fight, and I mean everybody knows if you're fighting Stamp, you gotta you gotta take her down, right? You gotta push the action, get her down. But then when she fought Ritu in the Grand Prix, she got her with the armbar, and everyone's like, oh shit, she's learning, and um Yeah, in this one, she was just constantly defending the takedown, defending the takedown, defending the takedown. And even when she got taken down, she was able to hold it where you're not really scoring points. And especially in ONE FC with their rules, like you cannot sit on takedowns. Like that's not going to score you points. Even if you eventually get the takedown, if you don't do anything with it, it's not going to work. But man, in that third round, when she catches her with that lead elbow, that step in elbow, I think she was throwing the left hook a lot. So
This
she
was
got
right
the
after that.
reaction. Yeah, she got the reaction on the elbow, and she like stuttered and then throws it. So she comes up to block, and then she's like, "Oh, it's not coming," and then the elbow just slips right in, and yeah, just completely drops her. It was such a nasty elbow.
And this was right after she dropped her here, and right away you just see blood flowing from Rajwan's mouth, right from that elbow. In the first round, Rajwan did a really good job pressuring and threatening the takedown, and it was a hard fought first round for Stamp, man. You know,
definitely.
and I haven't watched Stamp for too long, but the thing I continue hearing from everybody is just the evolution of Stamp, from being a Muay Thai monster to now looking like a legit MMA fighter.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the end of the first round, and the announcers are like, "Look at Stamp. She looks exhausted. It's hard to keep somebody off of you." And then she pauses as she's walking to her corner and starts dancing.
Yeah.
And the crowd starts cheering, and they're like,
Yeah.
"I guess she's not too tired."
Yeah.
It's just awesome, man.
Yeah, very
but
cool.
no, it was such a fun fight to watch. Any fight where Stamp Fairtex is up, just let me know. I'll be watching 100% of the time.
Same thing. When she attacked this leg, I was like, dude, is Stamp gonna get another submission here? Like, this is crazy. And
There was hyperextension.
dude, it looked bad.
It looked bad.
Yeah, it was bending backwards a little bit. Props to Razuan for not tapping to that, because that did not look comfortable.
She might be regretting it this morning. Maybe.
Yeah, she might be feeling that one.
It looked pretty bad.
Yeah, and then Stamp dances at the end. She gets the win. And
as Keith says, she starts twerking in there, and it's just. But you see
it's different when you back it.
Valerie Lareda.
Oh yeah.
On Bellator, and she starts twerking. It's like, all right, calm down.
Yeah.
But this one just seems like all in fun. Like it doesn't seem like she's trying to like sell her OnlyFans page or to get more viewers on Instagram. It just looks like she's having a good time and wanting to make everybody laugh. At least that's the impression. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a video too.
There's like a soy boy now. Watch.
I know, yeah. Ramiro the Stimp. But there's a video after the fact. I think it's on her Instagram where they're at like an after party or something, and she's like dancing with Mikey. It's so funny, dude.
Oh, that's so sick.
He's just all big smiles, just like kind of dancing. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Keith calls out she's going to be fighting Anissa, who fought on the lead card of this one event, and that's going to be a very, very fun fight. Stamp versus Anissa is going to be so technical. It's going to be a fun fight.
By the way, Radzwan, Shadowcat, sick nickname.
I know, so good.
So sick. All right. Yeah. Freemanov versus Win before that fight.
So, yeah, Win is one of the poster boys for ONE FC, right? He's been there for a while now. He's one of the guys that gets a lot of promotion from them. Freemanov, I believe this was his ONE FC debut.
His debut?
Yeah.
And what a scary debut it was.
I had never seen him fight before, but I will never miss him again. This guy is so talented. To do this I mean, obviously Win's like, he's got losses, right? He's 14-6 now, but to beat him like that, he's landing everything: the outside leg kick, the body kicks, the jabs, the knees. I mean, he looked like he was in a completely different level. This was a very good showing.
Yeah, Martin Wynn looked tough, man.
He's good.
But Freemanov had some lightning fast kicks, man. And he noticed that Wynn was dipping down a little bit when he just like kind of like what you see here. Yeah, dipping down for the body shots. And then even when he was throwing a right hook, he dipped down a little bit because it looked like he was trying to close the distance. So Freemanov with a really quick adjustment was like, dude, I'll just meet you in the middle with a knee.
Yeah.
Real quick. And
a
bunch of yeah. And then earlier we said you alluded to the need grounded opponents, kneeing the grounded opponents, right? Game changer, man.
It's a game changer.
In every fight. You know,
Angela Lee got caught with the knee on the ground a couple times, but it makes any exchange so much more high stakes If you get hurt or you're dropped to a knee on a shot or something like that, and they're getting out of it, you got to move. You got to get out of there. It makes everything so much more intense.
And we saw this a few times in the UFC, Will, where like you'll have somebody's trying to take somebody's back. And in order to make it harder, they just like hunch down, bend over, and put their hands on the mat. And it becomes kind of like a chess match from there where they're like, okay, what's the next move? And there's a stall. You can't do that. And you saw the urgency in every one of the ONE FC fights. As soon as they were on the ground and as soon as one knee landed, it was just urgency to get up, man, because you don't want to eat any more of those. Yeah. Or you get kneed like Martin Nguyen here, and it's the beginning of the end for you.
Yeah.
He falls back to the cage. Fraimanov comes in and just kills him, man. Absolutely just finishes him there. But Fraimanov looked very impressive, man.
Yeah. I'm not – they had the boss, Olivier Coste, as the ref here. I get that they brought – I get that they brought Herb Dean in, especially for the prime cards, right, to make it seem probably more legitimate to, like, American audiences and things like that. But we can't – he shouldn't be in the main events. They have the boss. He's one of the best refs in the game right now. I thought this was such a good stoppage. He didn't. I don't know if you noticed it, but he didn't stop it on a shot in this one. He stopped it off the reaction from Nguyen, where he ate a knee against the fence, and he's starting to get back up. And then as Fraimanov kind of loads up for one, he kind of dodges and goes down, and he's like, "No," he's like, "You're not fighting back. This is not." And it was perfect stoppage. That's the type of stoppage that's very hard to pull off in like live action, in real time.
Yep.
He needs to be reffing more over there. But yeah, Fraimanov, I will watch every fight from his moving forward. Super impressed.
Super impressive, man. And again, like you said, that was his debut. He had called the first round KO going in.
Oh, God.
Mystic Max style, dude.
Yeah.
It was awesome. All right.
Speaking of last fight, debuts.
Last fight we're going to be covering is Nasty Yukin versus Amir.
Damn. That's 3 in a row now for Nasty. He's my boy, too. He's the guy that, remember when Eddie Alvarez went to ONE FC and everyone's like, oh, man, he's going to be their champ right away. And Nasty was like,
nah.
Yeah. He's like, dude. He is terrifying. If in this position, if your back is against the cage, he is absolutely terrifying. He just
so
comes
much
in with
power.
hooks. Yeah, he's so explosive. Now you get that right hand up when you're throwing the hook like this, but I mean, he's so dangerous. It's so much fun to watch, win or lose. And Amir, this is a tough guy to debut against. In a new organization on Amazon Prime, it's a big deal. You come in here to fight a guy who's in ONE FC's top 5 rankings, and your back's against the fence in the first round. And he's throwing these wild hooks at you. A lot of people crumble in that situation, even if they don't get hit.
For sure.
But
Amir did a great job with the leg kicks, man. The inside leg kick was working for him the entire fight. The thing that I liked about Nasty Yukin too is the way that he threw combos right before he went for his takedowns.
Yeah,
powerful right hook, left hook, and then actually sets him up. Not what we saw in the UFC main event, right? But dude, same thing with Amir landing a big shot. And okay, whenever somebody gets hit with something nasty, you see the fight or flight in the person right away.
Yeah.
And with Nasty Yukin, he gets hit, and you see his jaw clench up because he's biting down on the mouthpiece, and he starts throwing big shots at Khalil Amir as he's coming in. He caught Amir with the left as he's walking in, and you saw him take a little step back, but he knew it was his opportunity to finish, man.
Yeah.
And he comes in with and I think it was this one too where Nasty Yukin gets hit with a knee, right, while he's down also.
Yep.
Which was a pretty nasty finish. But dude, Nasty Yukin, man, you could tell that boy is game because his initial reaction was like, dude, I'm rocked. I got to try to rock you back.
Well, this is how rocked he was too, to be able to do that. Is the final exchange wasn't actually him getting knocked down for the stoppage. He gets up and throws an overhand right so hard that he does the splits because his legs aren't there.
Yeah.
And then he does the splits, and he's trying to get up from him throwing so hard without his legs. And he eats a couple shots, and that's when eventually gets stopped. But I mean, again, Herb Dean letting him be a warrior. I mean, look at that.
Perfect knee right on the jaw.
Yeah. That should be ONE FC's like poster image. It just sucks that it's Nasty Yukin. That's my boy.
Oh man! All right. Well, that's all the fights that we're gonna cover as well from ONE FC.
Yeah, we just decided to do 5 and 5, right? Because we're at an hour now. That's actually perfect. Ended up being perfect.
It is perfect. It is perfect. Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. And don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.